They call themselves the cockroaches after a top official compared India's jobless youth to the pests. Now, days after their protests toppled the education minister, students say police are coming for them. What started as outrage over leaked medical entrance exams has turned into one of India's largest youth-led protest movements challenging India's prime minister. News Hour producer Zeba Warsi reports now on how India's Gen Z took on one of the world's most powerful leaders and what it means for the country's future.
The world's largest youth population just made their powerful government buckle under pressure. Beneath the celebration was something remarkable. India's youth discovering the power of their own voice.
The government have messed with the wrong Gen Z people.
You can bring bodies but not baddies.
It's a victory for the Constitution of India. It's a victory for the people of India, and it's a defeat for the dictator.
That's Abhijit Dipke, a graduate student at Boston University who sparked a movement from an insult. After India's Chief Justice compared unemployed young people to cockroaches, Dipke launched the satirical Cockroach Janta Party, or CJP, a play on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's ruling BJP. Today, its Instagram page has grown to over 25 million followers, more than twice that of the BJP. It all began with a leak of a national medical school entrance exam taken by 2 million aspiring medical students across the country. It's an exam they can prepare to take for years with private tutors and offers a way out of poverty for those who do well. The decision to invalidate the test results was unbearable for many students like Pradeep Kumar. His mother Sushila Devi says her son was so distressed that he took his own life.
He felt that if the exam was held again, then he may or may not be able to do so well. There was already so much debt burden on his father, he just decided to die.
More than 20 other young students made the same tragic decision. Their unfulfilled dreams have become a generation's grief. That turned to anger. Tens of thousands of students took to the streets, calling themselves cockroaches, demanding the dismissal of the education minister. Last week, they marched toward the parliament. The government responded with a violent crackdown, beating unarmed students with batons, using tear gas and even pellet guns. Students, journalists and witnesses gathered video to document and verify the attacks on a digital platform that became known as the protest record. International human rights organizations have called out the Indian government for using excessive force. And if the government's goal was to empty the streets, it had the opposite effect. The protest started in New Delhi and quickly spread across the country. Indian politicians who opposed Prime Minister Modi, including opposition leader Rahul Gandhi, backed the students, demanding accountability for what they called a brutal clampdown. For weeks, the revolution was not televised, as most mainstream media in India support the government. But news spread on social media, with tens of thousands of Instagram reels watched by millions. Students can be seen mocking the police force that beat them, and the posts turned protesters into Instagram celebrities. Analysts say India has witnessed widespread protests before, but this moment feels different.
Who let the dogs out?
India's Gen Z are blaming him for the police violence and criticizing his divisive politics.
Thank you, friends.
It took 7 weeks of protests, but Modi finally relented and promised to get to the bottom of the medical exam leaks. This weekend, the education minister resigned.
He fears losing power. They know if this protest goes on for a long time, the government can fall.
Raised in a family of devoted Modi supporters, 22-year-old Umang Gupta once led her university's chapter of Modi's BJP party. But its crackdown on the cockroach protesters changed everything for her.
I have joined the protest against my parents' wishes. So many kids have stood up to their parents, and they are getting beaten up. They are being called terrorists.
She said India's youth is now determined to take action against what they see as democratic backsliding.
When there is a fire within, we can stay hungry too. When there is courage within, we are unstoppable. That is the power of every youth. The youth is the future.
The cockroach movement may be over for now, but today its leaders said dozens of students are still being targeted by police across the country, particularly from minority groups. Students say protests will resume unless those cases are dropped.
Nobody believes that this victory is because of the benevolence of the government. People are very, very, very frustrated even now.
Student leader Neha Bora spent 23 days on a hunger strike and emerged as one of the movement's leading voices.
This anger, this deep, bone-deep frustration with the way things were, all of that being handled with brute force. They're just tired of the same old script.
Bora said Prime Minister Modi may have figured a way to slip out of this crisis, but the students will continue to hold him to account.
It's a good thing that he accepted one demand of ours, because the next demand is his resignation.
India's youth have made themselves impossible to ignore, and they've shown that even the most powerful governments can be forced to bend to the will of the people. For the PBS News Hour, I'm Zeba Warsi.